Good afternoon. For the video assignment on the chakras, I'm going to briefly discuss what the chakra system is, what it's thought of, and what each of the chakras is thought to represent. Toward the end, I'll discuss one chakra, but I have a disclaimer that I'll give before I do. First of all, the chakras are an envisionment of wheels of energy that reside along the channel that approximates the spine. They are analogous to plexuses or joinings of nerve and endocrine tissue, but they are not nerve and endocrine tissue. Whether they control the tissue or the tissue controls them, someday we'll all know that. But it's thought of as a pathway, a sequential pathway from bottom to top of the body, from our absolute essential biological nature to our spiritual nature, with consciousness being raised one level at a time. I'm really not used to looking in my own eyes. The first chakra, Muladhara chakra, which is thought of as being red, is at the base of the spine, more or less the perineum, between the genital organs and the anus. It represents our root. It represents our sense of safety and security and groundedness. It is manifested by a sense of safety and security and groundedness. And speaking as a male, I can tell you that when I have long-term insecurity, it affects my prostate. It affects my ability to urinate freely and my sense of fullness all the way down at the bottom, which is not the same as the next one, as the sacrum. Asanas that help are the grounding asanas, such as the seated positions, which I'm in right now. I used to love Sukhasana, but I prefer Siddhasana now. My legs are almost flat. And the standing poses, because the legs and feet are extensions of the root. The second chakra is the sacrum. It's called Svadhisthana, and it also means, for reasons I don't quite understand, her favorite place. And it represents our emotions. It represents our ability for romantic love with others. It represents our sexual and procreative and even creative nature. It is manifested by a sense of stability in one's own lineage. And the asanas that help open and stabilize Svadhisthana are the twisting poses. The third level is called, it sits approximately at the solar plexus, between the solar plexus and the navel, and it's called Manipura, which means the jewel in the city. It is thought of as being yellow. By the way, I left out the color of the sacral chakra is orange. So these are modern representations. In ancient, they were different colors, but regardless, right now we're using the 7 colors of the rainbow. So now we're up to yellow. Our Manipura, abdominal chakra, represents our sense of assertiveness. Sometimes it's described as ego, or its opposites, shyness. Instability or blockage in the Manipura chakra can present as abdominal symptoms or pain, or disturbance in the digestive or excretory systems. Even though some people say the excretory system is included in the root chakra, and we'll get to that later. By the way, each one of these has a sound. When we're trying to open the channel, the sound of the root chakra is lam. The sound of the sacral chakra is vam. The sound of the abdominal chakra is ram. Yep. A lot to remember. Permission granted. Sound of the abdominal chakra is yam. No, and it was not written down. Assertiveness. It's for example, it's a good thing to have a good abdominal tone, to be able to stand up straight and be able to present oneself well when dealing with difficult situations such as work, where our egos can be at stake and we have to have a firm sense of who we are and what we're trying to accomplish. Probably going to go a little over 8 minutes on this, unfortunately. The next chakra is the heart chakra. Green. The word anahata, the name of the chakra, means unstruck, and it has to do with the chest and surrounding area physically. But really, it is the place where the base nature, the animal nature, the earth nature starts to join with the spiritual nature. That's our heart. It's the seat of courage. It is, as they all are, a seat of self-love. And the mantra is Ram, Ram, Ram. The next one is the throat. It's thought of as blue. The name is Vijus. Sorry, I'm going to get this. It means purity. Vishuddha, Vishuddha. It means purity, and has to do with purity of communication. It's felt to include the thyroid, which is right nearby, and that's very interesting in itself, and I'll get to that. And hearing, but there's more to it than that. Remember, these are all thought of as wheels, but actually they are centers of energy. In my mind, they look more like galaxies. They look like turning wheels or even turning planets. They are not flat, they are not defined. They are accretions of energy. They are areas of central where the energy concentrates. Next, the third eye, Ajna chakra, and that is the place of intuition. If our eyes present us with vision, our intuition presents us with something that transcends vision. Its mantra is Om, spoken out loud. Lastly, at the very top of the head, all the way up there, but actually off the surface of the head, the crown chakra represents our spiritual enlightenment. I did not mention heart openers like back bends are beneficial for the heart chakra. Chanting is good for the throat chakra, of course, and meditation is good for the third eye chakra. The third eye chakra is also benefited by forward poses that touch the third eye to the ground, like child's pose, where one can relax and just enjoy the presence of Mother Earth. Crown chakra also is manifested by meditation. We have to let the body go in order to be able to become fully conscious. And at that point, we've addressed it's called Ananda Maya Kosha, where there's a breakdown of the veil that covers us and keeps us from true bliss. Satchitananda, truth, consciousness, bliss. Now, about picking just one and going deep dive, any one of them. The problem is with that, and all due respect to teachers, they do not exist in isolation. Every one affects every other one. It's very hard to get to the third chakra if one does not have a sense of safety at the base. And then they work not only, and it's been pointed out, Alana pointed out that it's as if the energy first goes down the Ida Pingala and then up the, up and around the Ida Pingala. Up the Pingala and down the Ida and then up the Sushumna. And it's like they're spiraling. It's like they meet each other. This is just a way to picture it. But they all go together. How can one achieve bliss and consciousness without having addressed every one of those layers that are really metaphor for the human nature? Anyway, you either like what I've had to say or you'll tell me what I can do differently, but I can tell you this. I ran a pain clinic years ago, and I noticed that the people who had hip problems were often in the throes of long-term, even familial creative problems, and it also reflected in their creativity. Root problems I mentioned earlier. When I'm terribly scared of something, and I don't mean something just frightened me. I mean it's a long-term. Oh my goodness, what am I going to do about this? I've been dwelling on it for weeks. I notice a change in the prostate function. When the heart is imbalanced, there's all kinds of opportunities for chest pain, and I believe cardiovascular disease is caused by hatred, which is the opposite of courage. To say that the ears are only from the fifth chakra is actually limiting the fact that they are organs of sense, and listening for truth is between the third eye and the throat, which is presentation of one's own personality, character. And I can sometimes see it during asana classes: red base, orange sacrum, yellow solar plexus, green heart open, blue throat open, third eye understanding all things are one. And as much as it may be egotistical or self-centered to claim it, a sense of opening at the crown chakra, and I can visualize from my head to wherever heaven is like a different dimension. Well, describing them is all fine and good. Living with them, working with them, and understanding them is the real way to understand them. Thank you.